Throne and Liberty Q&A with the developers, guys. Following the July beta, Amazon Games and NCSoft were supposed to launch the free-to-play MMORPG Throne and Liberty on September 17th, but they decided on a small delay to October 1st to add more features from the Korean version that's already live and some fixes decided following the feedback of Western players. Feedback? Western players? What the? These developers have cochleas, chat. And I know what you're all wondering. What's a cochlea? It's the snail-looking thing in your ear that helps you to hear. Because without that, you can't actually hear anything. This is insane. This is crazy. This extra time allowed us to set up an email Q&A focused specifically on the global launch of Throne and Liberty and what players can expect from the next Amazon NCSoft duo. Also a bird vagina. Okay, yeah, all right. Below are the answers provided by Daniel Lafuente, globalization design manager at Amazon Games. After a reminder, Throne and Liberty will be available on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series S and X. On PC, NVIDIA users can take advantage of the DLSS 3 technology to boost the frame rate. WC Wolf Tech can confirm that the game will be available on GeForce Now, allowing fans to play via the cloud. This is just, I guess, a video of the combat, I suppose. What feedback gathered from the open beta will be implemented in the Throne and Liberty in the future? So remember, guys, they're talking about the open beta in the West. And what this question is essentially asking is, why would you have an open beta in the West for so long? Aren't you just going to release the same version of the game? Which is a question that a lot of people have asked. And so this is a good question. I'm sure that there's a good reason for it, but like, this is a great question. We've worked closely with NCSoft to incorporate a critical player feedback from all of our testing rounds. We have just released a comprehensive article on the details of the major variations in the launch version. Some of the changes we're most excited about are the addition of skill specializations and even more improvements to the camera and character controls. This is actually a big deal, guys, because I think that Korea had to wait several patches. Months, I think, to get the skill specialization stuff. And a lot of us thought that we were going to get the skill specializations after, like, we were going to have to wait for a long time. But they're just releasing it with our version after our feedback in the open beta. Holy moly. Are you planning to publish detailed patch notes before the start of early access? By the way, I will be doing patch note rundowns for Throne and Liberty and BDO. BDO doesn't have a patch note rundown this week because the developers don't care about their game enough to have a patch. As we were. Are you planning to publish detailed patch notes? Definitely. We think it's important for players who have followed the development of Throne and Liberty to learn about what the difference is since they last played our test versions. When players get a detailed roadmap of when the Korean content and balance patches will be introduced to this version of the game. Yes. It's already so much better, bro. It's insane. It's actually just wild. They're listening to Western feedback, implementing changes to the game as quickly as they can based on our feedback. Guys, BDO might be in some trouble. Throne and Liberty might be a worse game, but they have developers with ears. This is insane. It's our goal to share the roadmap of content plans with our players throughout the life of the game. We're working on the first installment and we'll release it during early access period. Consistency is important to us, so we'll make sure to provide updated plans quarterly. We want to be informed, or we want you to be informed so you can plan accordingly. How long will it be until the two versions of the game are near parity? Meaning that there is only a small delay in the Korean patches. This is a big question. Because, like, for me, especially as a Black Desert player, my concern is that it will be perpetually behind the Korean... Like, when the game releases in the West, it's obviously going to be behind the Korean version a little bit. right? By like a certain amount, because we're not going to have expansions. We're not going to have all of the patches necessarily. But like, how long is it going to be before we're caught up? And then is the plan, once we're caught up, is the plan to release global versions all the time? Or is the plan to keep us perpetually behind Korea because they actually have rights as human beings and the rest of us are third world citizens? This is how Black Desert has treated us for years. Is that we caught up to Korea and then they intentionally hold our content so that Korea can get it first. And then after Korea's had time to spoil the content for us, then they release it in the West. I'm hoping that Throne of Liberty does not do this, that when we catch up to the Korean aspect, that they release everything globally as they go. Bot Arc is supposed to catch up and it never happened. Yeah, I don't really know. This is supposed to compete with BDO. So my question, I don't know. I'll be honest with you. This right here, we're listening to Western feedback and stuff. You have to think that JJ has something to do with some of this, right? The CEO of Black Desert America went to NCSoft to help with the launch of Throne of Liberty. And I guarantee you she's telling them, yeah, so players bitch that they don't feel heard. The feedback's not there. And then they're concerned about global releases, right? So like, these are big questions and they're answering them exactly the way that we would like them answered. The short answer is it depends on how our players progress. It's important for us to find the sweet spot between releasing content before people are prepared and releasing it too late. While we have estimates and timing right now, we want to confirm that with actual data. We will consider these things like vertical progression, content completion rates, and more. When we have the opportunity to release changes that improve player experience without jeopardizing the overall player journey, we'll work to bring that to our version as quickly as possible. A good example of us moving quickly is how we pulled skill specializations, a feature recently released in Korea, forward for this launch version. Okay, yeah, I mean, like, I'm going to be honest, guys. That means that they're going to push stuff as reasonably quickly as they can, and they're going to try to catch us up to Korea as quickly as possible in terms of, like, how much content that we have. But, like, it has to be based on our progress. And I think that's a fair take. And I think that, like, hopefully, once we are caught up with Korea, we just stay caught up with Korea. And it's not just Korea getting everything first because they have more rights than we do or because our developers hate us. Right? The game died in Korea. The last chance for the game is a Western launch. My dude, do you think that Black Desert is like a lively, super good game in Korea? Are you delusional? We're losing to Maple Story over there. What do we mean? Like Black Desert isn't super successful in Korea either. Black Desert is successful because the West made it successful. Literally just that simple. Silence, Western pig. Fair enough. Fair enough. 25 on Naver and TL is ranked 50. That has no indication for how it's going to do in the West. BDO didn't do super great in Korea, and then when it released in the West, it was like an explosion, and we're like 60 or 70% of their market share now. Actually, that gap is closing because we are all quitting the game. And that is how it is when you ruin your game, right? Like, Throne of Liberty may not have been super successful in Korea, but it does have potential to be successful in the West. It does. It absolutely does. And if you think that that's not the case, it's because you're on copium. It's because you're on mad copium. Let's see. Right now, there are only 7 weapons. Are you planning to add more classic weapons such as maces, warhammers, axes, and great axes and spears, etc.? If so, when could players expect these new weapons? Yes, new weapons will be a part of the post-launch roadmap. We can't talk more about it at the moment, but we can tease that players won't have to wait too long before the first new weapon is added to the game. We will be sharing more details on future content through our previously mentioned roadmap communication with players. This is big, guys, because in Lost Ark, your weapons are your class. So if you equip different weapons, you become a different class. But you're playing on the same character. So, like, you have to level up the different weapons, like your proficiency with the different weapons, essentially. If you equip a different weapon, you basically have to level up that proficiency all over again. It's kind of like leveling a new class in BDO. You're still on the same character, though. It's all still on the same character. Will the launch version include the substance transformation system, aka the Gamba system? Oh boy. The enhancement system. We will share this information in our upcoming blogs and release notes, which will describe the key changes between the open beta and the launch versions. There are several features that we will discuss in the same context of the the substance transformation system. Okay. Are you planning to add cross progression across platforms? Ooh. That's a good question. That's a good question. So, like, could I go and play my account on console, basically, I think? No. Oh. Well, all right then. We evaluated the benefits of cross progression across platforms prior to release, and there wasn't a significant demand. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, I have zero. If you're a console player, it's not like you're going to go build a PC to play it on PC and you're going to want that progression there. That's just not. You're just going to keep playing on your console, right? And it's the same thing for PC players. It's not like we're going to want to go play it on console. So, like, yeah. Cross-platform play, however, is very important to us because it empowers guilds and groups of friends to play together regardless of their chosen platform. And I think that this is a really big deal. Like, this is a really, really big deal. I think the fact that it has cross-play with Xbox and PlayStation means that the console version of Throne and Liberty will be much more active than Black Desert's console version by comparison, if that makes sense. So, like, Black Desert's console version is basically standalone. The PlayStation and Xbox players can play together, but they can't play with the PC version. This has held them back in getting content approved. This has held them back in, like, having a lively game and an active world, right? People complain all the time that console feels dead. There's not enough players to populate the console servers, and it continues to move downhill. Throne and Liberty, you just won't have that as much because, again, you're playing with the PC players. So, like, you don't feel like second-class citizens like our console players do. Right? Only if it works. Now, that's true. The optimization, we'll see if the game can be played on console without a tremendous amount of lag. And honestly, that would be better than BDO. Because BDO really can't be played on console. Throne and Liberty is free to play, and bots have already troubled the Korean version. What are you doing to minimize this issue in the Western release? We're taking the learning experience from our other games to help the launch of Throne and Liberty in a better state. Or to help launch Throne and Liberty in a better state. We've made some significant progress against bots overall, and player sentiment regarding bots has increased. Aside from what we've learned from other games, we do have other ways of preparing to handle bots in Throne and Liberty. We are analyzing and training our bot fighting models with anonymized data from the Korean live service. This is helping to build the foundation of the model that we can, in turn, use to identify bots within the Amazon game service. So in other words, all that bot stuff that they use to prevent botting in Korea that they developed for that is coming to our version of the game, which means in theory we should have way less bots than the Koreans had to deal with when the game launched for them. Our console players are not second-class citizens. They're not even considered citizens. That's true. Do we consider cows that we're going to slaughter citizens of the United States? Probably not. You're probably right. Most cows don't have rights at all. We are also putting several safeguards in place to protect the economy, including protections against fraud and auction house abuse. For players familiar with Amazon Games' trust system, we are working to improve its capabilities significantly and expect to have this ready for the Throne and Liberty's launch. We plan to moderate the auction house usage based on this trust status. We'll have strict punishments for players caught participating in this third-party real money trading, including suspensions, bans, and applying negative balances when Lucent is reclaimed after RMT is identified. Lastly, we have plans to make RMT more difficult for bad actors. However, we cannot disclose the methods at this time. This is good. We're reducing cheating. We hate cheaters. Okay? We hate cheaters. We ain't got no time for that. We get our pitchforks out for those people. This is a win. Will the milestone system be tweaked to speed up progression? Oh, that's a good question. Yes, the milestone system will unlock at a faster rate than it did during the original Korean launch. The details of the unlock speed will be shared in our previously mentioned patch notes and roadmap article. This is really good because it's going to help us catch up to Korea faster, guys. That way we all get the content at the same time. I need this. I need this. What's your outlook for PvP, especially open world PvP? What kind of plans do you have for it? Oh my god. All right, everybody start. Kufu's sweating right now. We're all sweating. What? All the PvPers are videos. It'll be okay, Jay said. It'll be okay. We plan on fully removing open world PvP from the game so that we can appeal to the Care Bear Andes, just like in Black Desert. I'm just kidding. One of the first things... One of the things we are most proud of for Throne and Liberty is the variety of content across both PvP and PvE. Together with NCSoft, we have plans to continue improving PvP elements and introducing new modes for players. Oh no. Oh god. Instanced consensual PvP. I'm just kidding. While we can't go into details today, we can confirm that new modes of PvP are part of our near-term roadmap. So they're already working on new PvP modes, guys. It only took BDO like 6 years to get more PvP. Like more PvP game modes than RBF. So not open world. I don't think they want to head towards open world. There's just really big, expansive... There is open world PvP. It's just not everywhere. There are like combat zones... So the equivalent of combat zones, safe zones, and like town zones. Okay. And you can fight other people in the combat zones. They're not called that, but like this is, I'm dumbing it down for people. Okay. So like there is still open world PvP. You just can't necessarily do it everywhere as far as I'm aware. Your FAQ says that after an auction house purchase, a temporary trade hold is placed on all Lucent in the player's account inventory. How long is this hold going to be? We're going to update the FAQ as it's misstated. To add clarity, after purchasing Lucent, players are able to immediately use it within the in-game shop. They went the other way! This guy is essentially going... Okay, so what this is essentially asking, guys, is like, hey, when people pay to win in your game, you said that there was going to be a hold on their account so that they couldn't spend the money right away that they just paid to win for. And we're all like, that's amazing. Wait, how long's the hold? Oh, we just want to clarify this. You can spend the money immediately and pay to win as frequently as you want. Just to make that clear. Okay. That was not what they wanted to hear. That was not what we wanted to hear. However, Lucent is subject to a temporary waiting period before it can be utilized in the auction house. In other words, your hold takes place before you spend Lucent in the auction house. The amount of times can vary by many factors, and we cannot discuss this at this time as it relates to our fraud protection mechanisms. Okay, so they are going to hold you from spending it, but like you can use it. Yeah, you can literally immediately use it in the in-game shop. Yeah, okay, so like you can use it basically right away. You just can't use it in the auction house. No. Immediately. Are there any plans to add support for player-made add-ons or mods? If not, will you add a combat log or damage meter? Would you not have any plans to support add-ons or mods at this time? Honestly, I think this is a win. I know that a lot of World of Warcraft Andes are probably not going to like that very much, but a lot of WoW Andes are probably not going to play Throne of Liberty, so it doesn't matter. But like, add-ons have basically killed World of Warcraft. You can't even tell what the is going on your screen anymore. In retail WoW, like that's why I can really only watch people play Classic now, because like at least there's only like a few add-ons. Like, oh my god, bro, oh my goodness. But this is good. The question about a damage meter is tricky. That would be good if they added that. At its best, it's a core tool to help players improve their performance and test new builds that they may want to engage with. At its worst, it can be a tool for toxicity in the community and in the game. While we are continuing to have discussions on this topic internally, our goal is to find an approach that can provide the most benefit to players without introducing systems that lead towards toxicity within the community. Okay. Okay. In Western countries, PvE is particularly important. No! It is. We're degenerates. We're complete losers. Are you planning to add more challenging endgame dungeons and raids on a regular basis? Yes, we agree that PvE is important for a wide range of international players, and Throne of Liberty has consistently added more of that type of content. Co-op dungeons, challenge dungeons, Gate of Infinity, cooking, fishing, Aminal expeditions are some of the non-PvP features that we've been adding currently. We continue to plan adding more PvE and PvP elements to the game. Oh my god, bro. It's so good. It's so good. Like, that is a huge win. And they even mentioned, they were like, just by the way, we will be continuing to add more PvP elements to the game. It won't just be PvE. There are two aspects to our game, and we understand that. What is our plan for major additions, example expansions? Would those be premium expansions or free, and what would be the cadence? This is an excellent question. because its primary developer, its primary competition is Black Desert Online. That's no secret. Black Desert releases all of its expansions for free, and it costs a lot less to play up front as a game. Well, actually, Throne and Liberty is just the early access, and then it's a free-to-play game. So, like, Throne and Liberty is not buy-to-play. Black Desert kind of masquerades as buy-to-play, but it's really only $1 on Steam most of the time. So, like, I don't know. Like, if you're competing with BDO, you probably want to release them for free, but we'll see what they say here. Our focus right now is on delivering the best launch experience possible. The Korean live game has recently received a major new content update in the form of an expansive new region called Telandre. It introduces a level cap increase, new world bosses, additional co-op dungeons, PvP territories, and more. Did Korea have to pay for extra for this, or did they just get it? We'll discuss more about that. Content will be available for international players of the game, but for now, we can confirm that it will be free when we release it. Wow. So, no, they are getting expansions for free. So, Throne and Liberty will be free to play, and it looks like the expansions are also going to be free to play, just like this, just like an update. Just like BDO. Big WTNL. Big WTNL. Several users have reported that pre-orders are unavailable in many European countries on PlayStation 5. Is Amazon looking into this issue? Get fucked, Sony Andes. Stop the goddamn Sony ponies. Stop giving your money to PlayStation. Okay? They literally are the reason that, like, Sony just never is able to push out updates in a reasonable manner. Xbox, Microsoft, super good. Super good about pushing out updates and making sure games can stay updated and like on current patch and with it. Sony, it's like dragging a stick through the mud to get things approved through Sony. And it holds everything up. Everything. Plus, I'm pretty sure the Xbox is better than PlayStation. I think it literally runs better than PS5. Just in general, it just has better performance. Like, across the board. But we will see. We are aware of the reports that started during the open beta about purchasing early access packs. We are working to make sure it is resolved in all countries and will be supported by Amazon Games. But for those countries outside of our supported countries, we will not allow purchasing of the early access packs. Thank you for this. Thank you for your time. Wow. Huge, bro. Huge. What a crazy update. That was amazing. Bro, the fact that they're even listening to Western players is just such a massive win. This is the article right here, guys. Guys, remember, you can join my Throne and Liberty guild. I don't know if it's already full or if we have spots available. I think we have spots available. We're looking for super active people. We're going to be in the hardcore competitive server. We're going to be right in the middle of all the action and the content. So if you want to get in on that and play with me, I'm going to be shot calling it. We're in the Cannons Alliance. There's a lot of content creators in our guild and our alliance, so it's gonna be fun. I'm down to apply for it. It's in my Discord. It's in the guild recruitment channel on the Discord. Just say, hey, I want to be in the TNL guild. I would recommend that you buy early access if you're gonna be in the guild, mainly because it's the hardcore server. You're probably gonna want early access, but if you don't have early access, we will still consider trying to get you in, depending on how many applications we have.